I don't understand whether Rajiv Tulka is a long friend of mine, last more than 15 years, but is he a friend or an enemy? I got the doubt now because he didn't tell me that he is going to call me first. Only request when he asked me to speak on the stage. Two things I told him. Don't put me besides KTR. He will outshine every speaker. And he is one of the best speakers of probably say India. And he speaks so well. So my request is to not to place me behind KTR Garu. But I didn't know that I have to talk first. And I told him, you are calling me as a speaker. I am not a formal speaker. I am a very informal speaker. I just feel like whatever comes to my mind, I speak. Is it any, I can't give a presentation. I can't have a huge this thing and all this I can do. Rajiv said that's the best thing. Please come. And I said, I'm not going to speak. I'm going to put a lot of my, I'm going to represent OTT, if at all. I'm going to put forward a lot of my doubts, my ambiguities, my confusions. And all I have put in a bundle and put it there. It may become a speech or may not. Yeah, it is a very, very new medium, OTT. And still, the biggest giants are still learning in this. This is not an evolved, developed platform. So, I have been making a journey last 30 plus years as a filmmaker. And what I have learned is something different than what is being sought, particularly by the youngsters between these 17 and 34. They're amazing, and these small baby steps that I wanted to take in this OTT are very, I'm very scared actually. I've come here. When Rajiv told me in the beginning, it's a good thing I have to attend many seminars to learn many things there. I didn't know I'll end up as a speaker. So, I'll put forward only all my doubts and confusions. Being a filmmaker, being in some Kerala Blaster sports, being in few other fields, I was very happy coming back home by 8 p.m., playing with my grandchildren, and then get into the room and see this Netflix, the Amazon, the Hotstar, all these things. I was spending for 3-4 hours, and that's the new thing that's happening in my life. My reading is gone. And I was watching these films, and the ambiguity started, the journey started. Is it going to eat my cinema away? That's the first doubt, because I lived there for a long time, made a lot of films, and is it going to steal my profession? My sons are there. It looks like that such a kind of a big thing. And one day, I was watching Game of Thrones, and I started around 9, and I came out of my bedroom, walked to kitchen to pick up something to eat, and while returning, I have seen my son walking towards the refrigerator. Hey, what are you doing? I'm just watching Netflix, Dad. It's already 3:30, something kind of. I just asked him, what is it you are watching? Money Heist. And then I just slowly walked into my room, continued watching Game of Thrones. By 5:30, I realized my wife shouting at me, took away this and put the TV off. Then it started. What is this? At this age, I'm doing a binge watching. I heard the youngsters do it, but what is this binge watching? What am I doing? This should be something big that is going to come. This is going to something very, very big. Of my age, it made me binge watch. Then, so it started. Then after some time, I was watching Fauda on Netflix. I watched it for 2, 3 days. And after a couple of days, I just on my Netflix and started recommendations coming. And many of you would have seen Fauda. It is about Palestine and Israel. And the popping up recommendations are about the Arabian conflicts, about the stories in Arabian countries, Palestine, this recommendation. How my habits, how this AI, artificial intelligence, working, and what is this? There is an engine that is working behind. This recommendation engine is doing something, and by seeing those recommendations, all this, I started becoming mad. So because two things. The new thing, I mean, it is, I'm in cinema, and it looks like going to eat cinema away. It looked like to me that day, it's a demon. It is something that big is coming up. That was the fear. So on this, I started experimenting myself, seeing something else. What is the recommendations are being done? All this. And I just called one of my friend in Calcutta who has started a vernacular Bengali OTT in a very humble way. I just called him up, asked him, what is all this? Is it a technological giant or is it a content giant? What is it? I'm confused. I've seen a lot of content in this, but technology is running. Technology is making me see it. It is giving my options to me to see it, all this. And something technologically is there behind running it. I've asked him. I said it's a huge technology that is running, but content is the hot buzz. So when he says content is hot, I was slightly pleased. Yeah, I'm still there. So I took the help of KPMG. And in the very first phone call, what KPMG gave me is surprising, that the highest video consumption in India is by Telugu people. Highest video consumption. It's a surprise for me. I didn't know that. So Telugus are so receptive regarding all these things. So many questions were arising. My inquisitive search started, and I engaged KPMG to do some work for me about the Telugu OTT. So when I want to start OTT, I can't compare with these Netflix, Amazon, Hotstar, and there are big giants. Some of them are sitting here, and I can't just compare myself if I want to start. So why not a niche Telugu OTT can be there? This is what I thought. I just consulted few friends, and there are niche OTTs are existing. For an extreme example, I have to tell you, one lady in UK is running an OTT, interestingly, about horses. Who are all interested in horses? England is more interested in horses or these things. So she's running a very successful OTT just on horses. The pedigrees, the habits of horses, the stud farms, all this, and it's very successful. So worldwide, niche OTTs are also existing. So I started engaged KPMG to work for me, and then they gave me a lot of data, which is encouraging. I consulted my investor friends. They are very much enthusiastic about it, and finally I made my family members, particularly sons, to sit and can I go into this, and they said it is tomorrow's thing, we have to embrace it today. All this encouraged me to go ahead, but my fears stayed back. Something which has got a very, people who are in this age, it is not that somebody has not provided, they are ready to receive different content, the very bold content, bold expression, very honest, naive, candid expressions, honesty, all these things, they are there to receive it. But thanks to censor or our conventional making, whatever it is, we haven't touched them. Then these platforms touch them, and that kind of, there's a huge reception from youngsters particularly. And it has become a personal viewing. And 85% of today's viewing is by mobiles. So all this makes technology and content together working well. We have to tell different stories, that is for sure. So I have engaged a bunch of youngsters. I have asked my friend to come from Bombay and lead these people, and it's all going on there. So, there's still the doubt, many people ask me, will cinema survive? See, this will cinema survive is not today's, it is when TV has come, in 83, when particularly the color TV has come, people asked me, will cinema survive? It did. And after that, cable onslaught was there, big way. Then people had a doubt, will cinema survive? Yes, it survived. Now, this giant, this lovely giant has come, called OTT. Will cinema survive? I say, it will coexist. It will coexist. TV will coexist. Cinema will coexist, and OTT will coexist. Everything will coexist is my take. Because I've been seeing last 30, 35 years how it takes changes. Let's all take the ride of this wave. Last 2 years, I was late in the night watching these shows, but still I'm late in the night doing something, and my friend who is sitting there is calling me 8 to 10 times a day, who is managing this, and sometimes till 1 a.m. And I'm still confused, excited, and I'm very glad Hyderabad is going to become the host of all these technological progressions. And I strongly believe that Hyderabad is going to be the hub. If technology is the bride, content is always the king, and the marriage has to happen. I see Hyderabad as a big pandal where the marriage is going to happen, and without a Purohit, it can't happen. It can't happen. And who is our Purohit? Who is other than Honorable KTR and his team? Thank you, gentlemen, for your patience listening. Thank you very much.